Hello everyone and welcome back to more Root Double Before Crime After Days. If you watched last episode, you would have noticed that we have to wait 9 hours before we're rescued. Well, we're not going to make it that long, and plus we have apparently 3 kids that are in another area of the facility, and we have to try to rescue them, but we have to search for AD first, because that's priority number 1 right now, is just to survive. So we have to search around and try to find more survivors and also AD. Watasi, Kazami, and Yuri immediately began searching Area 3's inner ring. We split up, so they first ran into the nearest room. It was a somewhat large laboratory. Deeper inside was a space that seemed to be for a rest area, a guard's room, or possibly a conference room.
では捜索開始。時間は1分でお願いします。
The group split up and searched the room. Though they didn't find the survivors or a medical box there, something still caught their eyes. A notepad was lying on the floor. Something had been hastily scribbled on it. 918 Sprinkler System Inspection. The inspectors, Takashita, Yurube, and Misono, will gather in the engine room at 1 p.m. Make sure that the system's been manually shut off before the inspection.
消火システム点検ってまさかこれのせいで停止してるのか
Interesting. Kazami ran up to him and took a look at the note.
いや、日付が違います。今日は9月16日ですが。
Did they forget to turn it back on?
しかし、このエンジンルームというところに行けば、消火システム停止の原因もわかるかもしれません。
場所はわかるか
存じません。今後の捜索で見つかれば良いのですが。
But though they hadn't gained much information, it was still progress.
よし、次に行こう
All progress is good progress. The group finished up their search of the room precisely in 1 minute, and then headed for the next one. They entered the hallway and went next door. What they found was no ordinary room, rather an elevator hall. The survivors were nowhere to be found, and all the elevator lights were off.
第1、第2エリアもそうでしたから。このラボのエレベーターは前期止まっているようですね。
That's unfortunate.
エレベーターシャフトを通って地上に行っていることは
That's a good idea.
残念ながらシャフト内にも
Of course
地上
there
に
is.
続く部位には隔壁があります。
Of course.
それも放射能漏洩防止システムの一環か
With the elevators out, the group had no choice but to move on. Their next destination was the connecting passageway that led to Area 4. Well, we're not getting through that.
この瓦礫メルトダウン前に起きてたっていう爆発の影響か
おそらくそうです。
通れそうにないですね。
Though they'd finally gotten their hands on a level 4 card, it meant nothing in the face of this. It appeared they needed to find another way into Area 4.
ここにいても無意味です。次に行きましょう。
The group went back to Area 3 and headed towards Area N this time. And when they got to the area and connecting passageway, they were greeted by a door with a security terminal station next to it. The words level N were engraved on the terminal.
レベル N
どうやら N エリアに入るためには特別なカードが必要らしいですね。
Perhaps their N had the high security level below. But it was the fire blazing just beyond the gate that kept them from freedom.
なんとか N エリアに入って火災を止められないかな
何言ってるんですか。それは危険すぎます。たとえ鎮火することができたとしても致死的被爆は免れないでしょう。
That's true.
そうかくそ
Watasi tried putting his Procyon close to the gate, only for the reading to start shooting up astronomically.
2406ミリシーベルトだと
一気に1000近くも
Wow.
危険です。お下がりください。
The group frantically ran away from the door. Just then the Procyon's reading went back to
ゲ
normal.
ート越しでもこんなありさまかよ
鉛などでできたゲートであれば放射線は完全に遮断できるはずなのですが、周囲の壁や天井などに破損部があるのかもしれませんね。
No matter how strong the gate was, there was always a possibility that there were cracks in other spots. Though they were invisible to the naked eye, there was atomic dust and radiation leaking through them.
なるほど。徐々に数値が上昇していくわけだ。
いずれにせよ、このゲートの向こうに溶融した原子炉があるのは間違いないですね。
An area of death, swollen with hellfire and radiation. If the area around the gate was that bad even when shut, then they could only imagine just how much radiation would engulf them if they opened it up. It really would be suicide to go into that place. Kazami continued as Watasi held his breath in horror.
隊長、ともかくこれで内周島の捜索は終わりです。
ああ。
Yeah, let's go. The group nodded and ran off towards the outer ring. But June's angry shouts filled their ears the moment they reached the connecting passage to the outer ring.
素人は素直に言うこと聞きなって。
何よ煙くらい。レスキューがへたれてんじゃないわよ。
June and Ina were engaged in a fierce argument. Who could have watched the two of them with a bewildered look on his face?
どうした？
森部、何を騒いでいるのですか？
あ、副隊長。この先の外周島に煙が漂ってたんだ。火の気があるっぽいんだよ。
So raise it up a bit, just a bit.
でも部屋がたくさんあって火元がわからないから椿山さんたちを安全なところで待機させようとしたんだけど。
バカ言ってんじゃないわよ。火の気があるからこそ全員でさっさと捜索すべきでしょ。
とまあ互いに一歩も引かなくてね。
Watasi thought for a second about who he should side with and then...
先生、落ち着けって。普通に考えて火の気のあるところに素人が入るのは危険だろう。
なんですって？
いや、記憶喪失で現在素人同然の隊長もこう言ってんだよ。常識的に考えればわかんじゃん。火器のある場に一般人を同行させるわけにはいかないんだよ。
I agree. It's too
二人とも
dangerous.
何言ってるの？煙って言ったってほん。
Before Ina could say any more, Kazami sharply cut in.
椿山さん、死にたいんですか？
Do you want to die? Take that as a no.
死にたくなければ黙って言うことを聞いてください。
Ina instinctively gasped at Kazami's harsh words.
私はただ言葉がきつかったことは謝ります。椿山さんのお気持ちも嬉しく思います。ですがどんな小さな火も侮ってはいけません。災害現場では我々の判断を信じてください。我々の任務は全員を無事にここから脱出させることなんです。
Kazami bowed her head with those words. Ina looked away from her uncomfortably.
分かったわよ。プロにお任せするわ。ありがとうございます。
Watasi straightened his back with a crunch at those words.
ということは俺たちの出番か。
そうだね。隊長の復帰第一戦だ。勘を取り戻すためにはちょうどいいよ。
椿山さんと浮田さん、優里さんは南周島で待機してください。見たところ南周島に火災の兆候は見られませんが、周囲の安全は常に確認してください。
うん、任せたまえ。
了解よ。いってらっしゃい。
After the rest of the group had finished wishing them luck, the rescue workers headed for the outer ring. Area 3, Outer Ring, B2. This block had multiple doors lining the hallway on both sides.
確かに少し煙ってるな。
He didn't see any traces of a fire at first glance, but the entire hallway was filled with thin
し
smoke.
かしこの施設空調も機能してないのか。
基本的には無事なんだけど壊れてるところもある。ここみたいにね。
おそらくは火災の影響によるものでしょう。
Kazami looked around the block after saying this and then continued.
それより隊長、この塔の捜索にあたり一つ注意点があります。
Fire.
注意点？
扉を開ける前にサーモグラフィーで 扉が熱を持ってないか確
That's
認
a
してくだ
good
さい。
idea.
扉が赤もしくは黄色で表示された場合はそこは絶対に開けないように。
なぜ？
Because it'll be hot.
バックドラフトってのが起きるんだよ。
Oh, yeah.
閉鎖された部屋で火が燃えると、やがてその火は部屋内の酸素を食い尽くしてくすぶり始める。そこで扉を開けると部屋内に新鮮な空気が急速に流れ込んでドカーン
Alright.
と爆発的に燃焼するわけ。
I can't raise them up anymore. Why do they choose these for me? Okay.
この塔には火は見えないけど煙が見えるってことは、どっかの部屋で火がくすぶってる可能性があるんだよ。
ですから隊長がちゃんと温度をチェックしてくださらなければ
I trust these
我々
guys.
全員が吹き飛ぶかもしれません。
責任重大だよ。大丈夫？
Oh. Okay, +1. Good. Watasi gulped and checked his surroundings. About 10 doors lined the hallway. They all felt like traps to him. Explosive booby traps just waiting to be tripped.
慎重にやらなきゃまずいよな。
Well, yeah, you should be taking everything seriously here.
この扉のどれもが開ければ火が吹き出る危険性をはらんでるってんだろ。
ええ。しかしこのどれかに AD や要救助者がいるかもしれません。
それに火元を放置しておくわけにもいかない。結局勇気出して一個一個開けなきゃいけないのさ。
決して焦らず、しかし急いで捜索をしましょう。
ああ、わかっ
Got it. And with that, the group began searching each and every room. They stood in front of a door at the end of the outer ring, with Kazami pointing a fire hose right at it. Watasi turned on the PDA's IRT function and checked the door for heat, just as he'd been told.
扉は青い。熱は
了解。
June announced that as she opened the door. Watasi braced himself the moment the door opened. Oh, but all that waited for them was a trim and tidy office.
火の気はなしか。
要救助者の姿もなしっぽいね。
It's a good idea.
では AD 等の捜索を30秒で行きましょう。
30 seconds. Okay, we can do this. The group quickly searched the room in accordance with those orders. It wasn't long before they found a box.
これがメディカルボックスか。
All right. Watasi ran up to it and looked inside. But it was empty. It appeared that someone had already taken its contents.
外れか。
Oh man, I was... Oh, just a small glimmer of hope. I can't even have that.
残念ながらカードもないね。
Alright, we need cards too to get into the other areas.
では次の部屋へ効率を上げていきますよ。
Yes, ma'am. Stairwell, okay. Like the automatic sliding doors that the other rooms used, this one had a fire door with heavy hinges. But when they opened it, all they saw was a collapsed staircase. Oh god, horrible memories.
しかしなんで階段が崩れてるんだ。火の気もないのに。
Yeah, why would... That's weird.
火災によるものではないようですね。九段の原因不明の爆発によるものと思われます。
Oh.
いいから次に行こうよ。テキパキとさ。
The group continued the search at June's urging. However, no matter how many rooms they checked after that, the only things they found were empty medical boxes. To make matters worse, there was no sign of any of the survivors, to say the least of the source of the fire. They even checked the bathrooms, but that turned out to be a fruitless endeavor. God damn it, we need to find some AD. Tatsu was starting to get more and more impatient. The last time the group had any AD was around 9:20 a.m., but his watch showed that it was almost 10 a.m. now. We don't even have half an hour. The survivors and the security cards were important too, of course, but they wouldn't be able to live past the next hour without some AD. Shit. This is all me and my amnesia's fault. I kept wasting everyone's time by demanding all those explanations from them. They needed to get their hands on some AD quickly in order to make up for that mistake. The group approached the final door on the outer ring as Watasi thought this. And like usual, he used the RT scanner to check the
熱は
door.
ないな。
おかしいですね。煙は他のエリアから流れてきたのでしょうか。
とにかく了解。扉開けます。
June then moved to press the button for the door. They'd been through this routine 10 times already, and as a result, Watasi was probably nowhere near as focused as he'd been at first because he'd gotten used to it. That's why I didn't notice it sooner. That unlike all the other doors, the ART scanner was showing that this otherwise blue one had a slight yellow tinge to it.
まずい、開けるな森部。
But it was too late. June had already hit the button, causing the door to slide open. At that moment, the group all felt something like the air being sucked inward. June immediately jumped away from the door. Fire spewed forth from the room only a mere second later. Ah! Watasi tried to dodge it, but his body wouldn't move.
隊長!
No sooner had Watasi heard the shout than that were he and the rest of the group being blown away by the blast. Am I dead? He wondered that for just a second, but no, he was still alive. However, it also felt like something was crushing his body. Watasi then opened his eyes.
隊長, 大丈夫ですか?
Only to see Kazami shouting at him, helping him up. I'm dying. Help me. It seemed that she knocked him out of the way just in the nick of time.
大丈夫だ。しかしこれは。
The surroundings had transformed into a sea of flames into the blink of an eye. Fire that spewed from the room was spreading all the way out into the hall. If this keeps up, then even Tachibana will die. Oh. It was at that moment that he heard a voice across the sea of fire.
二人とも無事?
Tasi looked to the voice to find June looking at him and Kazami from the other side of the flames. Tasi quickly shouted back.
森部、こっちに消火ホースをよこしてくれ。
June picked up the hose line of the fire and tossed it with an underhanded throw. The metal nozzle slid across the floor and stopped right in front of Watasi. The fire spread even further during those few seconds, filling the hallway with black smoke. Just standing burned in his skin and his lungs hurt every time he took a breath.
いけません隊長、ここは私が。
大丈夫だ。このくらいの炎、俺にだって。
We got this. We can do this. Watasi forced himself to step towards the direction of the flames, then turned the nozzle of the hose. Watasi was caught off guard for a moment. The water pressure was far greater than he'd expected, so he used all his might to keep the hose under control, knowing it'd most likely shoot right out of his hands if he let his guard down for even a second. The hose's jet stream ran right into the brightly burning fire. However, it's not going out. Although the steam was rising here and there, the force of the flames didn't weaken in the slightest. Watasi blindly swung the hose. Despite its efforts, the fire only grew stronger and stronger and swooped down on Watasi with intense ferocity. The flames swayed, briefly licking at his left hand. The heat shot through his gloves and burned the back of his hand. He then dropped the hose on instinct. Oh shit. He frantically tried to pick up the hose. Oh, that would be bad. I don't trust myself enough to do it. I'm going to lower it a little bit here. I really hope I don't die from this.
どきなさい隊長!
But then Kazami grabbed his collar and violently pulled him back.
だから私がと言ったのです。あなたはもっと後ろへ下がって。
わかった。
So see, if I did that, I would have trusted myself too much and I would have died. As he said this, Watasi noticed that there was something caught on his right hand. What's this? It was a locket with a broken chain. Kazami had apparently dropped it when she tackled him earlier. Percy quickly put it in his pocket and looked at the sight that lay in front of him.
いいですか？放水というのはこうやるのです。
Kazami nimbly handled the hose as he told Watasi this in a calm voice. She aimed the Jistin right at the edge of the fire, pushing the flames back. Kazami replied to Watashi's praise with a cool and collected
火
tone.
の動きを読み、水で抑え込め。そして炎の根源を立て。そんなことも忘れた人にこのホースを持つ資格はありません。
Kazami quickly swung the hose as she fired off that cold answer. The water swelled like an animal and fell into the fire in front of them. The flames that had been heartily burning with such fury earlier were now growing smaller and smaller with each passing moment. And soon enough, they were gone completely.
鎮火確認。
Kazami turned off the water with that declaration. June quickly came running back over and called out to her teammates.
危なかったね、二人とも。
ああ、立花と森部のおかげでなんとか助かったよ。
それは何よりですが、隊長。
All of a sudden, she grabbed Watasi by the collar.
隊長、なぜちゃんとサーモグラフィーを確認せず OK を出したのですか？
すまない。AD を早く手に入れなければと思い焦ってしまったんだ。
焦った？焦ったから失敗したとでも？そんな甘い考えでこの仕事が務まるとお思いですか？そのざまでは要救助者を助けることはおろか、ご自分の命も守れませんよ。
すまん。
それにどうしてすぐに私の指示に従わなかったのですか？
それはだがあの時はとっさにお前を守らなきゃと思って。
私を守る？生意気言わないでください。いつもの隊長ならともかく、今のあなたにそんな力はありません。
Something in Watasi's head snapped at those words.
そういう言い方はないだろう。俺は俺なりに一生懸命。
俺は俺なりにですって？
Kazami's eyebrows twitched as she said that. She then grabbed him by the nape of his neck and pushed him against the wall.
命のかかったこの現状でそんな甘い考えが通用すると思っているのですか？自分なりに頑張りましたとか、一生懸命やりましたとか、そうした意志は意味を持ちません。今求められるのは正しい行動とそれを選び出す冷静さです。私たちは犬死にしに来たんじゃありません。命を救うために来たのですよ。有利さを発見した時も隊長は自らの力量も現状の危険性も顧みず炎の中に飛び込もうとしましたね。おそらくそれもあなたなりに有利さんを助けようと思った結果の行動でしょう。しかし要救助者を助けるために自分の命を捨てるようなやつは英雄なんかじゃない。これはかつて隊長がご自分でおっしゃった言葉じゃありませんか。
Oh wow, we said that?
そんなことも忘れてしまったあなたはただの一般人と同じです。
Watasi couldn't say anything to that. Felt like he'd been handed an epiphany of how utterly powerless and foolish he'd been. He hung his head crestfallenly and let out a feeble reply.
すまなかった。俺の軽率な行動のせいでみんな。
分かっていただければ良いのです。ですが隊長、私が今言ったことは絶対に忘れないでくださいね。
Kazami let go of Watasi's neck and said that. It was then that June nervously cut in.
副隊長、今日の隊長は仕方ないよ。いつもとは違うんだから。
そうですね。本来であればあんな軽率な行動は決してしない方でしたから。
Those words pierced Watasi's heart. She was right. Watasi Kasanagi of today was completely different from the normal Watasi Kasanagi. So he wished that he could, at the very least, learn from his past self.
なあ、立花。普段の俺はどんなレスキュー隊員だったんだ？
そうですね。冷静で理知的でとても慎重な方でした。
なんかそれヘタレっぽくないか？
とんでもない。
I wouldn't call that a coward.
隊長はどんな状況でも合理的な判断が下せる理想的なレスキュー隊員だったんです。
そうだね。まあ厳しいことは厳しかったけど筋は通ってたよね。
そうだったのか。
If someone as competent as Kazama was praising him this much, then he probably really had been a truly superb rescue worker. The thought alone made him curse his current self's incompetence.
分かったよ。とにかくこれからは安全を第一に考えるようにする。自分も含めてだ。
ええ、せめて記憶がいつもの調子が戻るまではそのようにお願いします。では訓戒はここまで。皆さんのところへ戻りましょう。
Yes, let's. Kazama gave that order and started walking again. Watasi and June followed behind. His burnt left hand still ached under its glove. God damn it, how pathetic. This is fine. Watasi thought over the situation. The normal Watasi Kasaki would never have screwed up as badly as he had just now. Then what kind of relationship had he had with Kazami, his lieutenant? As he thought of this, he suddenly looked at June, only to find that she was looking at him too.
なんて顔してんのさ。
June said that to Watasi with a wry smile.
ひでえ顔してたが。
うん、すごいへこんでる感じ。初めて見る表情だよ。
反省してんだよ。
今日は本当にいつもの体調と違うよね。言うことが私とそっくりだ。
そっくり？お前と？
実はね、私もしょっちゅうそういうことを思ってるんだ。私なんかにシリウスの隊員が務まんのかなってね。超人だらけだからさ、うちのチームって。隊長と副隊長を筆頭に。
超人か。残念ながら今の俺はそう呼ばれる資格はないよ。
何言ってんのさ。記憶がまっさらなんだからそんなの当たり前じゃん。これで隊長が私より活躍したら私の立つ瀬がないよ。記憶がある分私の方がレスキュー隊の先輩みたいなもんなんだからね。
そりゃそうかもしれないが。
まあ新人同士力を合わせて頑張っていこうよ。
And with that, June gave Watasi a nice hard slap on the back. She being considerate of me? She may not choose her words wisely, but she's not a bad person at heart. June continued as those thoughts crossed Watasi's mind.
まあいつまでもミスを引きずっちゃダメだよ。隊長のミスは私がフォローするから萎縮しないで頑張って。そうやってちょっとずつ勘取り戻していこう。
ありがとう。できるだけ早く追いつくからそれまではよろしく頼むよ先輩。
おう任せてよ後輩。
Watasi and June broke out into a smile at that exchange. A strong feeling of reassurance broke through the clouds of self-pity covering Watasi's heart. With that, I'm going to end the video off here, and I'll see you all next time on more Root Double. Take it easy.